Hey everyone, welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. I'm Brandon. I just wanted to extend a quick thank you to all the new subscribers from the most recent video. I welcome you aboard to the channel where you can find both flight sim and real world focused aviation videos, which by the way, I've got a few real world videos coming up hopefully this week or next weekend, although moving in real life has put a damper on the real world flying lately. But I will be getting back to that pretty soon here and check riding before the end of the month, I hope. So back to the flight sim world. We're doing an IFR flight from North Florida to South Florida. If you notice here, there's a tropical depression off the southern coast of Florida here. And in the Miami area, there's, if you look at the METAR, screw the METAR, it's kind of boring. But there's a lot of gusty winds, marginal to IFR conditions with wind gusts into the 30s and rain and such. So I wanted to fly to South Florida because there is a event going on in Miami's airspace, fully staffed at Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach International. So we're going to fly from Jacksonville to Miami in the TBM 930. So get comfortable, and I'll meet you on the tarmac. All right, welcome back on the tarmac, and here's just loading the flight plan here in a vPilot, and the vPilot client right now, as I speak, is pulling in other folks. You can hear the jets starting up. There's a big passenger jet over there taxiing for the runway. So we're at Jacksonville International in the TBM 930 at the main general aviation ramp, and we're going to be departing in about 15-20 minutes here for Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International in South Florida. Like I said, in the lead up, there's a event going on tonight in Southern Florida, focused on Miami's airspace. So we're going to fly down to Fort Lauderdale, and you see there's a jet there taxiing. Beautiful area. It's Florida. So we're going to go ahead and start pre-flighting and getting the aircraft ready. All right, so the first thing we need to do is get the engine, or get the power to the aircraft. So I'm going to move the crash bar, the crash lever up. ATC and start clearance I'm going to get after I start the engine. I'm going to set the battery as the source and the generator to main. Okay, so those are checked. Audio alarms, don't think that's in the sim. DI system lights are over here. We're going to test them really quick. Okay, looks good. Check landing gear lights and check down. There's check down. And lights, test and extinguished. MFD is initialized automatically. Fuel on board, that's checked. Residual ITT, we don't need to worry about that. Voltage battery. Looks good. And then our crew alert system showing our parking brakes engaged and a couple other things that are going to go away once we get the engine started. Okay, time for the engine startups. We're going to verify the ignition set to auto. Auxiliary boost pump, we're going to set to on. There you hear it's on. We're going to check the alert system, and it shows that it's on. Propeller area is clear. Engine starter set to on. And we'll monitor on. And we're going to monitor the engine startup. So first things first, going to make sure that our engine oil pressure is on the increase, which it is. NG is slowly increasing. And we're going to monitor our ITT, max 870 degrees for 20 seconds, 1000 degrees for 5 seconds. Monitor NG 30% before 30 seconds, 50% before 1 minute. And monitor the oil pressure and temperature. If anything goes wrong, we're going to abort the startup process. And now we need to advance this to low idle. Please advance. There we go. Okay, low idle. And now we're going to monitor our startup. Continuing to monitor our engine instruments. Make sure that nothing is out of the ordinary. Everything's looking good so far. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know the intricacies of the TBM 930 in real life, so this probably isn't exactly how you do it by the book. This is a very simplified version of how you do it. I'm just doing it how the sim tells me to do it. We'll set this to flight idle. There we go. There's our warning, and we're at flight idle now. Temperatures are going to come down, and we've had a successful engine startup. All right, for after start, we're just going to set the auxiliary boost pump to auto. There you can hear it's off, and the CAS warning will come off as well. I'm going to set the fuel selector to auto. Select the AP trims to on and AP, or just on. And that should be it for the before taxi checklist, aside from some admin stuff. So now I'm going to set the radios for to contact ground. Sorry to get ATIS.
Light rain. Few clouds at 2,000.
So this is telling us what the local weather is. Saying about 2,000 foot ceilings
Temperature 24.
with light rain, which obviously is not showing in the sim. And I'll explain why that is in a second. I'm sure a lot of...
Landing and departing runway 8 and runway 14.
Okay, so runways 8 and 14 are active.
Taxiway mic when closed. Use caution. Bird activity near airport. Terminal ramp is uncontrolled. Push and start at your discretion. Call when ready for taxi. Advise on initial contact. You have information alpha.
Okay, information alpha's current, and so we'll set the altimeter to what we were given. But I do want to make a comment. The way that the weather works in this game, I think, is that they're pulling it from global weather models, which do a good job of showing you about where the weather's happening, but don't do a great job of depicting what is actually occurring at that station. So here it's saying we have 2,000 foot ceilings in preset, which is obviously not being represented by the game, probably because of the way that weather models work. So until Active Sky releases something for FSS 2020, that's probably going to be a issue. But it does a pretty good job overall. So now we're going to call delivery for our clearance using the CRAFT acronym. Clear to the route, your initial assigned altitude, your frequency, and your transponder, CRAFT. I already know that I'm going to be cleared to Fort Lauderdale, and then we'll just call and get the rest. Jacksonville delivery, November 972 Tango Bravo at the main GA ramp with information alpha. Request IFR clearance to Fort Lauderdale.
November 972 Tango Bravo, Jacksonville clearance delivery. Good evening. You're cleared to Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. Xbox departure. Almond Beach transition that is filed. Maintain 3000. Expect flight level 29010 intercept the departure. Departure frequency is 127.0. Squawk 2607.
Okay, November 972 Tango Bravo cleared to Fort Lauderdale via the Xbox 2 departure. Ormond Beach transition, 3000 the initial altitude, spec 290, 10 minutes after departure, 127.0 for departure, 2607 for 2 Tango Bravo.
TBM 2 Tango Bravo, reback is correct. Jacksonville ATS information alpha is current, and contact on 9. Good night.
Alright, so we've been given our clearance, so I'm going to set our top altitude of 3,000 feet initially. We haven't been given a runway yet, so I'm not going to set a runway heading actually. I'll do that after I get instruction for departure here, but we'll go ahead and set our nav source to FMS and do our before taxi checklist. So jet just took off, there he goes, and a little general aviation aircraft taxiing in front of us. Cool. So now we need to do our before taxi checklist. Do this before we call up for taxi. Standby instruments checked. MFD, our flight plan is set. LFE set. Weather radar and standby. The ice systems, we're not going to need that. Inertial separator needs to be turned on. Check our flight controls. Check our ailerons. Full left. And full right. Now I believe in an aircraft like this, you would have a panel to look at elevator and rudder input, but I don't seem to see one. And if I click around on our G1000 or whatever this is, there's nothing for me to display flight controls. So I'm just going to check it externally. Let me make sure that there's not. That is so annoying. That's the vPilot notification for text messages. So we'll just check rudder full left, full right, check elevator full up, elevator full down, and then we'll check them all together. Make sure that these work, no bindings, and our flight controls are free and correct. We'll turn that off. Trims, set flaps up, throttle. We need to feather the throttle twice. And again, I don't really know that much about the TBM 930, I'll be completely honest. So I'm not 100% sure how this works.
5 Mike Whiskey, still this frequency.
But it does things. The auxiliary boost pump came on, so that works.
Good day.
And it's set to auto, so it did it on its own. And then our all of our systems are indicating normally, so our before taxi checklist is complete. So now, time to review, just to familiarize ourselves. We're here at the FBO. I think we're going to be given taxi to Golf, and then a left on Alpha, taxi all the way to the end of the runway for runway 8. That's my assumption, where we'll make a right on Lima and hold short runway 8 for departure. They might give us 1-4. I'm expecting runway 8, but we'll see. And then for our departure out of Jacksonville, we're flying the Xbox 2 departure. It's an RNAV GPS departure. I assume we're going to be given runway 8, and with that we would be flying probably runway heading until, well, we'd be flying runway heading, and then I assume we're going to get radar vectors for Soggy, and then probably direct to either Xbox or direct Ormond Beach. There's Soggy, and then we'll climb. Probably expect a minimum of 12,000 feet passing Xbox. That's what the plate says. And then I would assume at some point direct to Xbox, Soggy, or Ormond Beach. But we'll see when we get in the air. With that all briefed, we'll power up here, taxi to the end of the ramp, and then call ground for taxi for departure. Jacksonville ground, November 972 Tango Bravo, request taxi.
TBM 972 Tango Bravo, Jacksonville ground, good evening, runway 14, correction, 14, via Golf Alpha Lima.
Say again for 2 Tango Bravo.
TBM 2 Tango Bravo, runway 14, taxi via Golf Alpha Lima.
14 via Golf Alpha Lima for 2 Tango Bravo. Okay, we've got our taxi clearance, so we will taxi as expected via Golf Alpha Lima, except we're going to hold short of runway 14 instead of runway 08.
Alpha Golf X-ray.
Aircraft calling Jacksonville ground for clearance, contact Jacksonville delivery on 119.5.
119.5 Alpha Golf X-ray.
Let me adjust my seat here. 4 flights showing us where we're at on taxiway Alpha. Looks like we got some traffic on final. If I can get back to center line to show you. Looks a little high, but maybe a little fast too. But lots of traffic here, so we're approaching Lima up ahead. Make a left onto Lima. There's runway 14, which you can see there off to our right. And some traffic waiting for us, so we're going to be waiting here for a moment. Alright, so now it's going to be a good time to do our before lineup checklist. So landing line strobes come on takeoff clearance, ignition on auto.
Southwest 45.
Auxiliary boost pump on auto.
Sorry
Fuel selective on auto.
Hopefully you'll come back
DI
to
systems
Jacksonville.
as required, not necessary.
Nah, man, y'all are good. I get it. Hey, it's just a sim. I'm not too worried about
Southwest
it, brother. Y'all
Airlines
have a good
guy
night.
blew his tire. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to put the pitot left and pitot right and stall heater on. Inertial separator going to remain on. Trim set for takeoff. Flaps for takeoff. AC as required. You know, it is a little toasty in here, so we'll kick that fan up a little bit. It's already on cool. Put that fan up a little
Number
bit.
5, Mike Whiskey, Jacksonville.
Alright, we're number 2 for takeoff now. So we're number 1 behind this guy. So this guy just got takeoff clearance, and we're taxiing into the hold short. Watch this guy take off for a second, and then hopefully we'll get out of here.
Jacksonville Tower, this is 8289 Alpha on final for runway 8.
Number 8289 Alpha, Jacksonville Tower, hello. Wind 040 at 5, runway 8, clear to land.
Runway 8 clear to land, 8289 Alpha.
Number 972 Tango Bravo on departure, fly heading 140, winds 040 at 5, runway 14, clear for takeoff without delay.
Heading 140, clear for takeoff, no delay, 14, 2 Tango Bravo. All
Approaching
right, so,
runway 14.
Thank you. Landing lights and strobes, come on.
Number 8289 Alpha, traffic
And we're ready for takeoff.
On the parallel prior to your
So we'll taxi
arrival.
into place here, given no delay.
All right, we'll
So
look
we
for
need to
traffic,
get
8289
going.
Alpha.
End of the runway's clear, final's clear. Should see 14 coming on the numbers. All right, 14 is coming on the numbers. 14 on the numbers on the runway. 14 coming on the compass. Clear for takeoff. Okay, power set. Right rudder, maintain runway center line. Airspeed's coming alive. Engine instruments are in the green.
Tower 8289 Alpha.
8289 Alpha, tower.
Never mind, 8289 Alpha.
And we're gonna rotate. And we're gonna climb at about 124 knots or so. That's VY. Gear up. Positive rate gear up. And we're gonna maintain that runway heading.
Number 972 Tango Bravo, contact Jacksonville departure on 127.0 CA.
Over to 127.04, 2 Tango Bravo, thanks. Okay, so we're gonna switch over to departure on 127.0. I need to get this under control though. My aircraft is not. There we go. We're on departure here.
Left to 340, descend to 5,000. Expect
Just trying to get my autopilot straightened away. Jacksonville departures, November 972, Tango Bravo, passing 2,400 for 3,000 on the Xbox 2 departure.
PBM 902 Tango Bravo, correction, 972 Tango Bravo, Jacksonville departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 15,000, and proceed direct Soggy.
Climb maintain 15,000 and direct Soggy for November 972 Tango Bravo. Okay, so we've been cleared to 15,000 feet, which I finally can get us. I'm going to climb at like 3,500 feet per minute. At this altitude and this power setting, we should be able to blast through that. We're going to climb up to 15,000 feet. That's our top altitude right now, given by ATC.
25 contact,
and direct Soggy means that I'm
118.3.
going to
Contact
enter
tower,
our
118.3
flight plan
unit.
and select to proceed direct to the GPS waypoint Soggy, which is the first waypoint on our RNAV departure circled to the left. And a little pro tip, if you ever want to go direct to a waypoint, just select the waypoint in this, direct, hit activate, and there you go. You can now activate nav mode, and it's going to fly the GPS coordinates laid out in our flight plan. So now, from here on out, I'm pretty much going to be monitoring our engine systems, monitoring our autopilot, and letting the computer fly the plane. Alright, so we're passing about 27,800 feet now for 29,000 feet. Beautiful evening across Florida. Just absolutely amazing looking sim.
350,
We're doing about 250 knots true airspeed, 180 on the indicated. Once we get to cruise altitude, we're going to accelerate to about 330 knots true airspeed and cruise it on out. And now for some B-roll.
American 12, contact Jack Center 125.05 so long. Jacksonville Center, good evening.
Good evening, Bureau 222. We're at level 360.
Delta 683 verify squawk 1001, 1001. Citrus 763, contact Jack Center 125.05. We'll see you next time.
25.
Alright, we're now approaching Ormond Beach VOR, and from there we'll take a... It actually isn't shown in my ForeFlight diagram for some reason, but we're going to drift out over the Florida coast, go into the open waters a little bit. Performance-wise though, man, up here it's pretty good. About pretty near max settings, getting steady 50 frames per second up here, so can't complain about the performance one bit. Don't have anti-ice on right now, but as we approach those higher level clouds to the southeast, we may need anti-ice, so we'll see. The weather down south is going to be a lot worse than what we departed from.
One 2575, Miami Approach. Hey, thanks for the help. Have a good day. 882 Tango Bravo.
Alright, so pretty soon here, we're going to be cleared to descend the Faisal 7 arrival. We're going to be cleared, or when we get our clearance, we'll probably be told to cross Mosey at 8,000 feet and 250 knots. So we'll try to plan this out, try to descend probably about 2,000 feet per minute once we get cleared to descend. And we're going to want to cross Mosey no lower than or higher than 8,000 feet with probably a 250 knot speed restriction at that.
November 972 Tango Bravo, cross Mosey at 8,000, the Miami altimeter 29086.
Cross Mosey at 8,000, 29086 for November 972 Tango Bravo. Okay, we've been cleared to descend, so we'll set our altimeter to the local altimeter setting of for Miami, 29086, and we're going to descend about 2,000 feet per minute to start. So what I'm going to do is set our bottom altitude of 8,000 feet, and then reduce our power to maintain a constant airspeed descent of about 2,000, 2,500 feet per minute.
Miami Center, November 1 Mike Charlie. May we get free speed at Batoga? Say again. November 1 Mike Charlie. May we get free speed at Batoga?
And as we continue our descent here, tracking along nicely, adjusted it just a little bit to increase our rate of descent. That way we may meet our requirement, 8,000 feet at Mosey. Soon here we'll make a right-hand turn, basically direct Mosey, and once we pass Mosey, we should get radar vectors to final for the ILS for 10 left is my guess, but we'll see.
Hey, November 972 Tango Bravo, contact Miami Approach 118.1.
118.1 for 2 Tango Bravo, thank you.
TBM 972 Tango Bravo, Miami Approach, you with me?
We are now passing 12,000 for 8,000 on the Faisal 7 arrival for 2 Tango Bravo.
November 2 Tango Bravo, thank you. Expect the ILS from my 10 left, Fort Lauderdale altimeter 29086.
Okay, expecting 10 left the ILS approach and 29086 for 2 Tango Bravo. Okay, we've been cleared for the ILS approach for 10 left. It's going to be a radio signal that will give us both lateral and vertical guidance. You can see it right here.
Delta
this is for Fort Lauderdale.
26.
There's the Fort Lauderdale. I think that's the localizer and the VOR. The localizer frequency is 110.1. We'll put that in nav 1. That's what's going to give us our vertical and lateral guidance. You can see the glide slope in the middle left there. We're going to intercept that at about 1,800 feet. And the minimums for this is going to be 560 feet. And we'll intercept the localizer, fly below the glide slope until the final approach fix, intercept the glide slope, fly it down, hopefully make visual contact with the runway before we hit minimums. And here's the radio panel. Just going to set our localizer frequency 110.1 in nav1. Set that.
Southwest 765.
Got to hit the knob there.
7 miles from Pion.
Confirm
Cross
110.1.
Pion at or above
We'll fly.
3,000,
So right
cleared
now,
ILS runway 10
our
approach.
CDI is set to fly by the FMS. Once we start getting vectors, we'll switch over to nav1 and we'll intercept the glide slope.
Delta 1820. Southwest 1780, proceed direct arcs.
Direct arcs, thanks. Southwest 1780.
Now you notice in this flight, as opposed to the last video, I'm spending a lot of time just looking straight at these panels and monitoring just the instruments. I haven't really looked outside much, and the reason for that is because we're flying by instrument flight rules. And the reason we're doing that, other than, you know, the ridiculously high cruise altitude, is that you can't really see any features on the surface. You can't see any aircraft. I mean, looking outside there to the right, you can see the clouds that are just below us. You can see the clouds ahead of us. When you're flying above the clouds and through the clouds, it's very hard to reference ground landmarks and such, as well as maintain separation from other aircraft, and worst yet, maintaining orientation in time and space in the aircraft itself. So because of that, we fly by instrument flight rules, and we rely heavily on things like GPS, as well as our own, all of our instruments, such as the vertical speed indicator, altimeter, all such airspeed indicator and stuff. So that's a big difference between VFR flight following and flying IFR.
JetBlue 225, my departure, radar contact, climb maintain 9,000.
9,000, JetBlue 225.
TM 2 Tango Bravo, just want to maintain 4,000.
Set to maintain 4,000 for 2 Tango Bravo. Set that 4,000 feet in our altitude hold, set vertical speed mode, and slowly descend down to 4,000. So we're being stair-stepped down for that vectors to final. So pretty soon here, we're going to get further clearance down, probably down to 2,000 at some point with vectors to final. And the thing to keep in mind is that air traffic control is not only separating us from other traffic, which we can see, but also from any, not terrain out here, but obstructions, towers, buildings, and such like that. So going to stair step us down, and then we're going to get some vectored headings. They're going to shuffle us around here to get us to intercept the localizer. You can see here that we are passing northwest of the airport, and on our approach plate here, you can actually overlay GPS positions. There's what I think is called the final approach fix, and basically ATC is going to get us beyond that so that we can intercept the glide slope from below. They're going to give us probably a left heading or two and intercept the localizer at an angle. So the first thing we'll intercept is the localizer, which you can see on the CDI down on the primary flight display as the
2 Tango Bravo, descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, 2 Tango Bravo. But if you look at our primary flight display, you can see the green arrow looking thing on our heading indicator. That's the localizer. That's going to give us the lateral guidance, and then the glide slope is indicated next to the altitude tape. But we're about to get our vectors for final here. And then just to highlight, there's the localizer. That's giving us lateral guidance. There's the glide slope from the ILS giving us vertical guidance. So you can see that the little green dot is moving up, meaning we're getting below the glide slope. And the whole reason we use this is because I can't see through the clouds. There's no landmarks that I can see on the ground. So we need the ILS to provide that lateral and vertical guidance to keep us centered on the runway and descending safely onto the runway where we can't see.
Roger, 986 kilo.
November 72 Tango Bravo, turn left heading 180, vectors to final.
Left on 180 for 972 Tango Bravo.
Number 2 Tango Bravo, 4 miles from Pion, fly heading 130, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS from 110 left approach.
Left heading 130, maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS 10 left for 2 Tango Bravo. Alright, we've been cleared for the ILS approach. Not cleared to land, but cleared to make the approach. So we're going to intercept the localizer. First on a heading of 130, and then we'll arm the approach. So you can already see that the nav1 has the localizer on it. I'm going to arm the approach, and it's going to intercept it for us.
119.3, thank you, 86 kilo.
And I'm just going to assist the autopilot in doing it because the default aircraft autopilot are kind of screwy. They'll overshoot things, but I just was shallowing the angle. But there we are. We've intercepted the localizer, so now we are on runway centerline extended. And even with my help, it still overshot it. And then once we intercept the glide slope, the aircraft will start, well, the autopilot will start descending. So once we do that, we'll start to pull the power back, maintain an approach speed of about 180 knots until cleared lower. And then our approach speed today is going to be 85 knots. So that's our final approach speed. And that's going to be with gear down, flaps and all.
Number 2 Tango Bravo, reduce the final approach speed. Contact the tower now, 119.3. Take care.
119.3 for November 9 or 7, 2 Tango Bravo, thank you. Alright, switching over to tower. Before I contact them, I've already pulled back the power to slow down to, we'll aim for about 90 knots or so. It's a different strategy when you're flying ILS on the glide slope. You're actually going to use power for airspeed and pitch for altitude. Contact tower real quick. Lauderdale Tower, November 907, 2 Tango Bravo on the ILS for 10 left.
November 972 Tango Bravo, winds 160 at 7, 10 left, clear to land. Number 3, following traffic on A for my follow.
Number 3, clear to land, 10 left for 2 Tango Bravo. Alright, we are number 3 to land.
November 2 Tango Bravo, are you able to sidestep to 10 right?
We could sidestep to 10 right for 2 Tango Bravo.
November 972 Tango Bravo, runway 10 right, clear to land.
Runway 10 right, clear to land, November 972 Tango Bravo. Alright, so we've been given landing clearance, landing light comes on, and flaps down, gear down. We are fully configured for landing, and we're just about, airspeed's getting low there. Put in that power. So that's what I'm talking about. It's opposite when you're flying with the glide slope, is the airplane is going to pitch for that altitude, so you got to control the airspeed with power. So I'm going to fly this in at about 90 knots, and we're going to sidestep for 10 right. The legal procedure for a sidestep, so please don't grill me if you're an instrument pilot watching this. Wind check.
Winds 160 at 7.
Okay, so winds are about 7 knots, so I don't need to carry all that much airspeed. There's no gust. You can, by the way, I just called for a wind check to make sure that we weren't flying into gusty winds here that I need to, because if you're flying into gusty winds, you lose a bunch of airspeed. You know, I'm pretty much right on that approach speed. If I lose 10 knots of headwind, I'm going to drop like a rock. So this is why, but you can see why we fly with the ILS, because I cannot see outside. I see nothing. So without the ILS, it would be pretty sketch. So we're going to sidestep for 10 right. And again, I'm not an instrument pilot. I don't know if this is the correct procedure. Don't get mad at me if this isn't the official way to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. So we are currently on the localizer. As you can hear the preset. On the localizer for 10 left. But we're going to deviate from the localizer. We're going to maintain the same glide slope. But we're going to scoot over to the right here for a 10 right. Alright, still no visual. Not quite yet. And we're getting pretty close to minimums here. That might be it. Yeah, that's safe to say that's it. So runway, I've got eyes on the runway. And I'm going to add a little bit of power, rest that sync rate. Looks like we're pretty well on profile. Looks like 2 red, 2 white. So we're doing pretty good. Just need to correct center line.
500.
Passing 500 feet. So we just need to drift to a center line. Need to correct right a little bit. But got visual on the runway. We'll continue. Alright, looking good. 1 red, 3 white, so we'll ease off the power a little bit. Maintaining that 85 knots. Okay, nope, need to correct the left. There we are on center line. Okay, maintaining 85 knots. Not going to idle quite yet, a little low. Right on speed there, and passing the threshold, we go to power to idle. Going to enter ground effect here. Ballooned a little bit, so put the nose to a little level there. And we're just going to try not to land. Bank the wings a little bit to the left to drift center line and touchdown. Welcome to Fort Lauderdale, folks. Not going to use the reversers. Got plenty of runway to work with here. And we got a long taxiway. Got a lot of taxi ahead of us. Get off on the next left here. Well, you guys had a really good time on VATSIM as always. If you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Folks, I've had about, I don't know, 35, 40 something new subscribers since the last video. Thank you all. You helped grow this channel. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the previous video, and if you'd like to see more videos, please do help support this channel and its growth. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I look forward to making more of these, especially getting back into the real world aviation stuff. And if any of that excites you, you should hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the next one. So I'm going to get this shut down and enjoy the rest of my weekend, and I hope you guys enjoy yours.